Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited about the new background. I just did it. There's nothing special. I just printed out the posters and I guess this is going to be the new little YouTube video spot for me, so I'm super excited about that. Today we're going to be talking about something very important that's coming up for high school seniors, which is how to pick out the best college for you. I myself applied to 19 colleges and it was a difficult process trying to figure out what college was going to benefit me more. And to be honest, I didn't realize how good it ended out until I got here. There's a lot of things that I think that seniors might not look for that are actually really important that I'm going to talk about today. For those that don't know me, my name is Bruna and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those that do, welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe and leave any comments or questions down below. I currently attend the University of Cincinnati and I'm in their honors and BSMD programs. I moved 9 hours away to attend this university, so it was a big decision for me. And honestly, being a first generation student, I had no idea what I was walking into. Now that I'm here, I know that this path has set me up for success. I know that having a hospital near my university, for example, will really benefit my pre-med path and then later on my medical career. And that's just one of the things that I'm so grateful to have right now. So I think the number one thing is to understand your priorities. You should know roughly what you want to go to college for. A lot of people do go to college undecided, but if you're good at science or you're good at math, you should pursue maybe a field in STEM. And just keep that in mind because you want to match what you're interested in with the resources and the academic program provided at that school. You want to look for colleges and universities that are strong in the program that you want. So it's easier if you already know what to do, but if you don't, beware of the different programs and whether they're strong or not, or beware of what that university offers and maybe what their weaknesses are just in case. Some universities like Brown do offer programs where you can combine or make your own major, which is really unique. And honestly, it's a way for students to pursue something broader than a lot of universities provide. So trying to go to universities that have a broad range of academic opportunities may be the best choice for you if you're undecided. Next, let's think about campus culture. Do you like a university that has a lot of students, or maybe you like a university that has less students? When I was applying, it was really difficult for me to understand how that would feel like. I didn't really know how a large university would be compared to a small university. Obviously, I've never been a university before. And so the best advice I got in that circumstance was think about whether you're someone that asks a lot of questions in class and you need that attention from the professor. If you need a lot of one-on-one attention, you might want to go for a small university. And I'm not saying that large universities don't give you that one-on-one time. It's just a lot of times they might have like learning assistant or peer tutors instead of you being able to talk to the professor directly. They still have office hours, but it's a little bit more difficult to get there. And for a lot of large universities, eventually the classes end up getting smaller anyways. It's just those introductory classes like math or science, like biology or calculus, they're always huge. But it's also a really great place to make friends in your field of study. In terms of location, you should have 3 things in mind. Whether you want to live in the city or a rural, more countryside community, how far it is from home, and the climate. I think a blessing for me that I wasn't aware of before I came to college is that the university I'm at is in the city, so that naturally is going to provide more resources, more opportunities, more networking opportunities, and various other things that might be more difficult to get in a more rural community because it's more isolated. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind the opportunities that maybe a more isolated campus might have or might miss out on. Second is distance from home. I think that for me, I was fine with having FaceTime calls up until I could fly back out and see my family. But for a lot of people, you might have a support system in your hometown that maybe you need them a little bit more. It really varies between each person. And lastly, the climate. Be aware of the climate in the area you're going to. I wasn't expecting Cincinnati to be this cold and windy. Like in the summer, it's so humid and gross. And then in the winter, it's cold and windy and gross. Honestly, it's not that much colder than where I used to live, but this has been the coldest winter they've seen in 10 years. And I wasn't ready. I really wasn't ready. So keep that in mind. Really research the climate. Research what kind of outfits you want to wear and research if that goes with the place you're trying to move to. Next, let's talk about cost. And this kind of ties into the location. For example, there are out of state and in state schools. Out of state are honestly like double the price, way more expensive than in state. Out of state is also supposedly more difficult to get into. Universities in the state that you already live in tend to accept people from that state more than they do out of state. In state is cheaper and it's easier to get into. However, going out of state might have better opportunities like it did for me. But yes, it does cost more. Look at the tuition fees. Look at housing fees. Look at housing. Look at the housing contract. Read terms and conditions. Because if you're like me and you can't handle a stressful housing environment, maybe with people you don't know and you want to leave halfway through, they won't let you. Plus, housing on campus tends to be really expensive. So keep that in mind. But then also keep in mind the scholarships you're getting and maybe financial aid through FAFSA. I think that something I regret doing is not applying to more scholarships in high school, because in high school it's less competitive than in college when everyone's already there and it's like 50,000 people competing for one scholarship. So I would recommend doing more scholarships while you can in high school. And just the last thing with costs, like, know how expensive and high maintenance you are. If you're a girl that likes getting your nails done like every month, every 2 weeks, like what? That's like 60 to 200 bucks per month. Just know your expenses and keep in mind that college is expensive along with that. So something else that's not talked about as much, but it's still really important, is to understand the campus and student body values. Not every campus is going to want to do the same things. You have to see if the culture on campus aligns with what you want for your future. If you're someone that doesn't like partying and you go to a party school, that might not make you feel as comfy, especially because you're living there. For example, a party school obviously is going to attract party people, so that honestly reduces your chances to maybe find someone that's not a party person, if that makes sense. Like, this plays into your potential friendships and many other things. So be really careful the type of school you're going to, and honestly, like, deep dive into that. And that takes us to our next category: resources and facilities. There are so many things that I got to campus and I was either like, thank God this exists, or I wish this existed. Libraries and study spaces are one of them. We have honestly one main library, and everyone and their mom goes there and it's packed all the time. So I made it a goal to look for different study spaces all over campus. And it's doable. It's just like sometimes annoying because then you got to go and look somewhere. But I mean, I think universities are going to have study spaces everywhere. It's kind of their responsibility. It's just like, do you prefer sitting in front of a big window and studying, or do you want to sit in a cubicle? You know, like, kind of figure out what you like and then go and tour the school and see if they have that. Also, quiet spaces really matter. Usually university libraries, like, the main floor is really loud and then the next floor is quieter and quieter and quieter. Then the top floor, like, you can't say or do anything because it's dead silent there. Know where your quiet places are to study. Next, let's talk about research. Whether you're going into pre-med or business or any career path, research is really important, and it's a field that's growing and that's encouraged. For pre-med especially, having research in undergrad honestly isn't that big of a priority, but it's definitely impressive to go and apply to med school and you already have a published paper. That's really impressive. So look out for research opportunities. And co-ops are something a little bit different. I don't know too much about it, but some of my business and engineering friends do co-ops where basically I think they intern at a company, and it could be all over the country, and it's pretty cool. Like, I know some people that went to Google, Microsoft, those big tech companies. They like it. Next, as I mentioned, different internship opportunities networking events, super important, more for like the business majors and tech majors, and pre-med majors, honestly, anybody. Next, health and wellness on campus, super important. And I know like a lot of people find it annoying. Like every once in a while, we'll get people coming into our class to talk about mental health and breathing in and breathing out. And some people don't like that. It's like whatever, a waste of time. But mental health is getting increasingly more important and it's impacting more and more of us every day. And honestly, like I think that it's already a big deal and it's going to continue to become a big deal. We're still researching a lot of the mental health issues that people suffer from nowadays. My point is make sure that your university has like a therapist, a guidance counselor, someone you can talk to. And with that, also fitness centers. The gym is super important because people say freshman 15, because freshmen tend to get to college and ignore their body and their needs. So just make sure that there's a gym there somewhere, just so you're prepared, so you're not shocked and then you don't know where to go. Because I think having a gym there, just in case, is essential. Next, and one of the more interesting resources is like technology resources, like creative spaces. There's like a video game building here at UC, I think, like, and I went there once and there were a bunch of people playing League of Legends on their computer full force at like 7, 8 p.m. And honestly, if that's what you're into, I mean, look for those places. There will always be people that have some of the same interests as you, and the university a lot of times will fund these type of things like video games because there's potential in everything. And yeah, like look for computer labs, Wi-Fi availability. I think one of the schools I toured when I was still applying, they had something called a makerspace. You could go in there and use their sewing machines and that type of thing, and it was super cool. Moving on to general campus life. First thing, student organizations. I'm currently in a few organizations that have already gotten me so many opportunities. One of them is Phi Delta Epsilon Medical Fraternity. There's a lot of physicians that come in to talk to us. I didn't even know this existed until I got to university. But yeah, we have physicians come in. We get a huge discount on Kaplan MCAT prep, which I'm looking forward to. Various other resources. So if you're curious, it's not a requirement, but do look at the organizations on campus and see if there's some good ones that will set you up for success. I think it's also worth it to look at campus events and student run activities. When I got to UC, they had Welcome Week, which I think every university does. But you know, like the events differ. I think they had puppies, popsicles. They have a bunch of stuff. And honestly, coming from so far, it did make me feel welcome. It was very chaotic though. Um, and let's get to dorms and accommodations. I have a lot to say about the college dorm experience, but I'm gonna hold myself because I did enjoy it after all. Like I previously mentioned, just please, please, please be aware of the contracts you're signing, how long you have them for. If you want to, literally put the terms and conditions in ChatGPT and tell it to simplify it for you. You need to be aware of what you're signing because sometimes the university or the university housing department, your safety and wellness is not in their best interest. So just keep that in mind. Really know what you're getting into. Honestly, if you have someone that you're really close with that you want to be your roommate, go for it. That's better than honestly opting for someone random. But know that things change over time. I've heard of like best friends going to live together in college and they just stop being friends forever after because it just wasn't a pleasing experience. What people show in public might be different than who they are behind closed doors. So just be careful and be conscious of that. Meal plans. Let's talk about meal plans and food. I did touch on freshman 15. If you're not in college yet, you will know what that is soon. It's just, freshmen going to college and they don't know how to take care of themselves sometimes. So at least know your food options, what you want to eat. If you want to eat burgers and pizza and whatever type of junk food for the first 2 weeks, do it. I did it, but I got it under control. So that's what matters. Also, do look at the restaurants around your campus. I got sick of the dining hall food and I've been going to the restaurants around campus. Oh My goodness, the best sushi place to ever exist is right near where I park on campus. And if I didn't go and explore, I wouldn't have found my favorite sushi spot ever. So, yeah, look at the food places around campus too. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more broadly about housing and roommates. I did briefly touch on like contracts and roommates, but there are honestly so many things that go into housing and picking what's best for you. First, there's on and off campus housing. On campus housing is the type where you like walk out of your dorm and you see a lecture hall right in front of you. Off campus, you might walk like 15 minutes before you see the lecture hall. You know, like it's around campus but not in it. Then there's like single room, shared rooms, apartment style, like all of that. I had apartment style, but I had my own room in the apartment. Now, looking for a roommate, a lot of schools have like incoming class of 2025, like incoming freshman class Instagram accounts where you can post and meet people that are going to that university or that are like fully committed or like 99.9% committed. You know, like you can get a feel for the type of people that you're going to see your freshman year. I honestly don't think that that process made any difference for me. Like, people could post whatever they want on social media. Like, they could pretend to be whatever they want on social media. So, like, it's nice to see the faces, but I wouldn't trust that fully. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you know someone before getting to college and you want to room with them, that's probably more trustworthy. And just roommate communication and trust. Like, you're sharing a space together. I think it's important to set those boundaries early on, and it's something I regret not doing, but that my RA encouraged. She encouraged us to talk to each other. We had meetings all together to set boundaries, and that kind of helped, but long term, not really. Next, let's briefly talk about student support services. One of the most important and honestly best things that I've had ever since I got to college was all the advisors that I currently have. They're so helpful and they can help me in different ways. One might help me pick my classes, the other might be like, this is what you should expect when you come to medical school here. So get close with your advisor, they're going to be super helpful. Next is tutoring services. Tutoring is super important, and like student instructor sessions, sometimes you're not going to get the professor you want, and you're going to have to rely on those tutoring services and learning assistants and student instructors to help you succeed. And then the last few things just to keep in mind: diversity, inclusion, and mental health resources. After all, you're going to be interacting with all these people around you. You're going to be pretty much living on campus, maybe, or staying in college for a very long time. You want to be comfortable with your environment. The last thing we're going to talk about is visiting campus and getting familiar with where you're going. I actually didn't visit the university I'm at up until maybe a couple months after I committed. I think I toured like 3 other schools, but honestly, it was just the ones I was really, really into. If you're applying to a lot of universities, it's going to be a lot of work to go and tour all of them. So I'd say pick your favorites if you're out of time, or maybe if you have time, tour them all. Or maybe even if you're a junior or sophomore in high school, start touring now. And when you go to tour these colleges and universities, look at the dorms. See if you can go inside the dorms and see the conditions. Because I've heard some outrageous stuff. I've seen outrageous stuff within the dorms of my university. And also the dining hall. Dorms and dining hall, 2 most important things that you really have to pay attention to when you're touring. Something that's kind of new to me that I didn't really do in high school, but I think it's so important, and I'm like, why didn't I do this? Is going and networking and talking to current students at the universities you're interested in. I've had quite a few students in my LinkedIn asking me about the program I'm in, how the interview was, how the school is, and I'm so open to talking to them, and many of my friends are too. So LinkedIn is honestly the best place to look for students at these universities that you're looking into, and don't be afraid to reach out because students will be the most honest with you. You can ask professors, you can ask the employees at the university. Students will always be the most honest. They're living there. Overall, those are my best pieces of advice when picking a college that you might want to go to in the future. Me personally, I'm very happy with where I am right now, and I know it's a stressful time. I know that there are a lot of decisions to make, but I promise everything is going to be just fine. Good luck to everyone that's going through this process right now. Let me know if you guys have any questions or suggestions or anything in the comments down below. I'll always be willing to answer. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.